All right, and we are back. And ladies and gentlemen, it is an absolute honor to finally sit down with my friend Nathan Mann. Nathan, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, listen, the honor's all mine. I'm trying to think. I think the first time we met was at Cycle Jam in Road Atlanta, if I'm not
That
mistaken.
sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously through I want to say it because I know she's listening. She'll be mad.
I'm sure she's downstairs now, but yes,
Nicole,
Nicole.
yeah. So big shout out to Nicole. She's a proper mega photographer. If you guys missed our episode, please go back and have a listen to it. Can't wait to sit back down and do a part two because there's still so many questions I have about the whole click, 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 and the
Mhm.
beautiful world that brings. But Nathan, listen, we are here for you today, and as I always start this off with, man, where did your journey begin on those beautiful twos?
On the twos or in racing in general, because that's a whole different pathway. Because
Where did it originate on twos, and then we can get into a whole racing thing.
so on two, it started back in. I lived in Illinois originally, and so I started. I, I know my parents weren't thrilled with the whole two-wheeled thing, and so in Illinois they actually have a free rider course. And so I was like, hey, summer months, might as well. It's free. It never hurts to learn a new skill. And I had a helmet that I had for go kart racing. And then it slowly just morphed into, hey, I'm slowly trying to find this motorcycle to buy. And had a buddy who was a Honda Master Tech that helped me find my first bike, which was a Triumph Speed Triple. And I learned out in the farm fields, where it was a little bit quieter, didn't have to deal with traffic. And so I started learning how to ride out there, and I moved down south and I was like, you know what? I don't need to do this whole motorcycle thing. I'm going to go into maybe do an autocross, find a stick shift car. It's safer. And that lasted all about 3 months before I got my next motorcycle. And after a couple months, I met some people who had done some track days. And then I bought a Daytona to come out and rip the tracks and did a couple track days. And then my buddies started racing. And so then I was around the racing world a little bit more and met Joe Fisher and saw them doing and just having so much fun in the Groms. And it just reminded me of a lot of the go kart racing I did back home, where it was just like, it's so much cheaper, so much more fun because it's so much more competitive.
Oh, 110%. I'm a huge fan of mini bike racing. I too want to buy me a Grom just for the same thing. Actually, every time I see Joe, he's like, come here. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Love Joe, man. Big shout out to Joe. Listen, I want to take it back for a minute, man. The whole go kart thing, shit. Did you actually do shifter kart racing?
So I never like owned my own carts, but there was a lot of tracks near where I grew up. Like I grew up in the same neighborhood as Danica Patrick, ironically enough. And so a lot of the go kart tracks that she grew up at, they did a lot of rental carts, and they did like 50 lap endurance racing events. And we went out to Sugar River in Wisconsin, and we used to do those races, and they do 50 lappers. So you're in a go kart for 30 minutes, and I know that doesn't sound like anything crazy, but if you've ever been in a go kart with no power steering for 30 minutes on a rough track, it wears you out. And they would do double headers. So we'd turn 150 laps in a day on a go kart, and we'd be racing against guys that raced F2 and all kinds of different go kart champions. And so it was really competitive, even though it was just a rental cart. And so we've spent seasons out there just doing that. Me and my buddies and my brother, we'd go out and we'd race these go karts and tried to find local go kart tracks that would do rental events, and ultimately it accumulated to where we did there's actually a series out there called endurance karting, and they rent out these endurance carts and they do like a 6 hour race in a rental cart, and you team up with your buddies and you swap out, you have pit stops. And so we ended up doing one of those and got second in one of those, and that was, yeah, we should have won. There's technicalities, I'm not going to get into that, but we should have won. But
That's awesome, man. And what was the cost to do all that? Was it fairly cheap or?
yeah, so the endurance was pretty expensive, but that's also, I mean, you're doing literally 6 to 8 hours in a cart between practice and the race. But the 50 lappers, I want to say it was $80 for the first one, and if it was a double header, it was $60 for the second one in the same day. So it's cheaper to do the second one if you want to stay around. But I mean, you'd be tired by that point. Anyway, second one was just survival at that point.
Yeah, but you learn so much,
Oh,
right?
you do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so much fun, right? Bang for the buck, you can't beat that.
Yeah, and they do field inverts, so like you'd qualify, And so like they just figure out like, hey, the top 8 are really close, and so they invert the field. So if you were 8th, you were starting on pole, and so you ended up having faster guys come through you. So you had to learn to be defensive, and maybe you can hold it for 25 laps, and then you get a gap to where you can kind of battle with somebody. Like that's actually I ended up getting, I think it was second or third. No, I was third in one of them, and it was because I got the invert and I started on pole and I held them off for like 20-ish laps before they started just catching me and passing me. And luckily, 2 of them in front of me wrecked. I didn't realize it, and then somebody passed me in the last lap, so I would have gotten second. But it's all things to learn. I thought I was already out of the podium, so it didn't really matter to me. I was like, I'm just going to run conservative here. Little did I know I was battling for second place.
Right, that's racing, right? Like, I love it, man. I wish they had something like that around here. Because sign me up, I'd go all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I think endurance karting does have an event down here that they do like the 6 hours. I think they've done VIR before, so for the go-karts.
Really?
So yeah,
I'm gonna have to look into that, man. You
and I
have
think
to.
that's like $2,000 for the whole event, and that's obviously if you have a team of 4, you split that cost 4
Yeah,
ways. I mean, it all depends on the track; they're a little bit different, but
that's
yeah.
awesome. So, do they race like on the North Course, South Course?
On the go-kart track at VIR.
Oh, okay, up on the back. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. I've been up there. I haven't rode it yet, but yeah, I want to. I go
Yeah,
up there for
my goal
sure.
is to get to Southeast Mini Moto with VIR this year.
When's
Haven't
that
been.
supposed to happen?
Great question. I have it marked on my calendar, but I know it
Listen,
was.
you find out and you send it to me, and I'll come down there.
It's May 2nd.
May 2nd at VIR. Just for that one
Mm-hmm.
day?
Yeah, I believe so.
What
I'm
day?
not. I'm kind of new to Southeast Mini Motor. I'm trying to get a couple rounds in because I like the go kart tracks. They're a little bit tighter, and so I kind of want to learn that world a little bit. But I also don't want to sacrifice the Wira Mini Moto and stuff too.
That's awesome. So, yeah, so, obviously you do all this mini motor races, and we already talked about Joe. What a proper mega character he is, right? He is absolutely amazing. Matter of fact, I think the first time I met him too, if I'm not mistaken, was at Cycle Jam. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
pretty
like
sure.
I said, I had some buddies that were racing, so I kind of met him in passing, but then it was GNF, not this last year, but 2 years ago, the first GNF I went to, it was just like, man, how do I get into this stuff? And he literally would break it down, and that's one of the greatest things about our community is it's not like there's some secrets being held behind closed doors. It's like it's kind of all open, and here's how you do it. Here's the cost of it. Here's how you can do it cheap, and what's the most important stuff to work on first. So
Well,
it's always
good, because
helpful.
I want to go over all those points that you just said right there. That's all I had written down anyway. So yeah, you know, tell us about you getting into it. Your first time. Obviously, you gotta tell everybody. Obviously it's Honda Groms and Z125s, the
Yes.
CF Moto Papio or whatever it's called.
Hmm.
Oh,
So with Wira, there's technically, I guess, 3 classes that run all in the same race. Um, I don't remember the exact names. I'm not great with all that stuff. But there is the Grom Cup, which is exclusively Honda Groms. So you're all Honda Groms. You're all allowed pretty much the same modifications, kind of like a super stock championship for just Hondas. And then there's the next class up, which are all those other ones, the Z125s, the Papios, the Benelli TNTs, all of those kind of sit in that class, as well as I think there's some dirt bikes that are allowed, like some, I want to say like 100cc or less or 150cc less dirt bikes like TTRs and stuff like that. And then there's that larger class that runs like the 85cc 2 strokes and like the 150 CRFs and stuff like that. Or I think even the ovales and stuff fit into that classification as well. So
that's awesome. So, getting into it, tell everybody, obviously, Honda Grom. That's basically what most people get a Grom. Every time I talk to somebody when I want one, they're like, get a Grom, get a Grom, get a Grom. I've ridden a
yeah,
Z125. I had it for a whole weekend. It was nice. I really liked the Z125. It was a nice little bike. Never rode a Grom, so can't really compare them yet.
I mean, I've never really ridden the Z125s. I've only had the Groms. Obviously, I've been on 2 different chassis now, so they or 2 different generations. So I was on a Gen 2 initially when I started the season, and for the last round at GNF, I stepped over to a Gen 3. which has the upgraded transmission. It's got a 5-speed versus a 4-speed, and so it feels a little different, but they're about the same.
Yeah. How do you like the 5 speed?
I like it. I think the transmission feels better first and foremost. It's got better engagement to me. It's not as like numb feeling, and so I like that feeling. And I think it's got a little better pickup because the gearing's a bit lower down low, so
Nice.
helps on the start.
So getting into the Grom racing, the mini moto racing, obviously a Grom or a Z125, that's one of your first costs you got to get, right? And you can pick them up fairly cheaply. I mean, they're not expensive anyway if you buy
Mhm.
one brand new. So that, and obviously your leathers, which you need a custom suit. Don't buy the off the rack suit if you have one. You know, make a backpack or a purse and give it to your loved one. You know, and get
Mhm.
a full custom suit. Hit me up. I'll take care of you. But yeah, for sure. And then so the tires. Talk about the tires and the fees and the entry fees and all that stuff that goes into it.
Yeah, so the tires, obviously, in most racing, that's kind of your biggest cost because it's your constant consumable. Um, for Minimoto, it's super cheap. I ran the same set of tires all of last season, and they're still good for the guy I sold the bike to. So not gonna have to change tires probably anytime this season. So I did make an adjustment. So the factory tires had a little bit more of a knobby to it, a little bit more of a street tire, and so I did try to find the most performance oriented without going full slick yet, because I just don't see with the big tracks the need for the full slick. Maybe eventually I'll get there, but I'm just kind of slowly working my way up on the tires. As for registration cost, it's pretty cheap. I think it's $60 for the weekend. You get 2 races with Wira, so you get to run Saturday, Sunday for $60. So pretty affordable to go out and buy $100, $200 set of tires, run it the whole season, and have $60 of registration each weekend.
Bro, I love it. Sign me up again. Let's go, right? And then obviously they have little tire warm. Like, what's the model? Talk to me as I'm brand new to this. Tell me what I need to get started and what I'm looking to get myself into.
Yeah, so when it comes to how you handle the bikes, there's really not much you can do because it's essentially under super stock rules. So you can't change major components. So you're not going to go in and like do a camshaft and build the motor from ground up unless you want to go run the higher classes. If you're in something like Grom Cup, which is what I run, you can play with the gearing, so you can get a little extra pickup by dropping a sprocket in the front, which is what I do on most of my bikes. I keep the stock rear and I go down one in the front, but you can always play around with that depending on weight, size, feel, and obviously exhaust. We do an intake, and then you can do a tune to the bike, so like an ECU tune, which you can get it flashed. Other than that, the only thing you can really touch is suspension. So pretty simple, bare bones. You're not spending tons of money building these things from the ground up. I did splurge in the off season to get myself a fully adjustable front fork, which is something I learned at GNF, that the bike was not happy at Charlotte's Web when I went to go turn in the bike because I was bottoming the front out. So I need a
And
little extra front feel.
how much were the forks?
Forks were probably the most expensive thing I have on it, other than the bike itself, which is, I think they were around $700.
That ain't bad. And then Olin's makes a rear shock for those too, don't they? I'm pretty sure they
They
do.
do. I'm running a Racing Brothers front fork, and then it's got a Gears Racing on the rear, which has got a preload and rebound adjustment.
Yeah, I wish K Tech. I need to talk to my boys at K Tech, and if you're not riding on K Tech, I don't know what you people are doing, but see if they make a rear shock for a Grom
I
or
know they make a front fork.
K Tech does.
Yeah, Joe
That
has talked about getting into a K Tech front, and I just didn't splurge for that. It's a little bit more money.
that's what I'd have to do. Support my boys Birch and Dakari and Kendall and all them guys. Yeah, so let's go, man. Big shout out to K Tech, right? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, so hardly any modifications, and obviously you can either send your ECU off to get flashed, or you can't buy an aftermarket one, can you? You can run like a
No,
Power Commander.
you might be able to. I don't know about that rule. I just know I just
Okay.
sent mine off to get flashed
Flash.
because
Yeah.
really, if you do the intake and the exhaust, you're not really going to get a much of a horsepower increase if you don't mess with the ECU too. So
100%. Yeah, 100%. So the cost is low. The fun is the most fun you're ever going to have in your life. I already know, right? And
mhm.
yeah, $300 for a set of tires that's going to last you all year. I mean, that's
Oh yeah,
That's a
can't beat
no.
that.
No, absolutely not. And my buddy Jason Bartlett, what is up, Jason? Man, he says, don't forget, it's priceless to get beat by a kid on a rented Grom at the line. LOL.
Yeah, but we don't want to talk about that.
Oh no, we got to talk about that. What happened?
So GNF, I wouldn't say he's a kid, but he runs some R3s and stuff. And we were running in the rain on Sunday, and I knew he was a little bit faster than me in some parts of the track. Like I was just up to speed a little bit earlier, so I kind of pulled to the gap, but I could feel him coming back and pushed a little bit too hard in museum turn and washed the front.
It's part of racing.
It's part of racing.
It's so as far as like the maintenance side of the motorcycles, obviously that's something that maybe some people just getting into it don't think about, right? The oil changes and the valve adjustments and the air filters and the plugs and wheel bearings and sprockets and chains and all that good stuff that goes in between, right? And fork fluid change and rear shock rebuild. So break a rundown
Honestly,
with that.
not really much. I do like an oil change maybe once every 3 rounds, and it's only a quart of oil.
Oh.
So, and if you get like a Gen 1 or a Gen 2 Grom, they don't even have an oil filter. They have an oil screen. So all you need to do is sometimes they'll take off the right side cover so you can clean the oil spinner that's inside. But really, I've never changed fork oil for the most part. I did that on when I had to do the new shock, but really, I mean, once a year, you just do some basic maintenance to keep up with if you just want to be nice, but you can really abuse these Groms. They take a beating.
I bet they do. Man, it's so much fun, and obviously what does the season consist of in mini moto racing?
The season, um, so there's only certain rounds that we can run because they don't allow us to run at Road Atlanta. So we don't get to run the big track there. So we get all the rounds at Little Tally, the 3 rounds at Little Tally. We get to run all 3 rounds at Roebling, Barber, and that's it really. So pretty simple. I mean, I'm always at the racetrack because of Nicole, so it doesn't matter. We're always at the racetrack for one reason or another. So I might as well go out and race and have some fun with it.
110%. So what's your favorite track you've been on? Obviously, there's only a
Barber.
couple. Barber, 100%. I've never
Barber.
been. I want to go this year. It's on my bucket list to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Barber is by far, I mean, it's one of the prettiest tracks in the country. And it's just so much fun because there's so many different elements to that track. And there's so many blind corners, and it's such a flowy track too. So it's not like it's, weird or janky. There's a lot of elevation. It's kind of interesting on the Groms because coming out of turn 2 or 3, I guess you can call it, coming down the hill, you hit this big hill to get back up towards Charlotte, and the bikes bog down because they just don't have the power that the big bikes have. And so you can feel it kind of like slow up. So if you're not early on the gas, you don't have the speed to carry through the hill and everything like that.
You're like, come on, baby. let's go. Yeah. Again, too much fun to be had, right? And so entering the Wear Mini Moto, what is the championship? Obviously, it's only a couple of rounds, right? And how many competitors are in your class that you race with, and who's been the most challenging one for you?
Yeah, so I mean, it depends on the round because Joe rents the Groms, and so sometimes he shows up with more rentals than others. Sometimes more rounds are popular, and people will show up with their Groms and decide to sign up. Like Barber in general is probably like GNF is probably our most popular event that we have with the minis, just because it's like everyone's there at the end of the year, and everyone's like, well, screw it, let's go out and run mini moto. And so we had, I think, something like 15 on the Grom grid, and I think it was like 2025 between all of the minis on the grid, if not more, at GNF. So you get a ton of people on the grids. Roebling's another popular round because it's a big open track and it's full wide open throttle, and it's kind of like Daytona for us because it's all drafting. You can't get away because no one's lifting, and so as long as you're in the draft of somebody, you're making passes all the time. But in terms of competitors, I've always been chasing Joe because he's the guy to beat. But I know I also don't compare to him quite yet. Like realistically, I did some more power modifications at the end of last year, and I still watched Joe walk me. And so the biggest competitor that I had, she came in halfway through the season. That would be Angela. she kind of had an equally matched Grom, and we ended up just battling a whole bunch. Um, I didn't have any of the power adders until GNF last year, and so she oftentimes would get the power advantage. So I was always trying to use the draft to kind of catch up with her, stay with her, and so I never had that like straight line speed to beat her to the line. So
Again,
hopefully that changes this year.
yeah, absolutely. And when does the season start for you guys?
2 weekends.
Oh, nice.
Right? Yeah. Not this weekend, but I think it's the one after.
And where's the season opener at?
That is that little tally.
Love it, man. Never been there neither. Never been to Roebling neither. I need to go there. I know that one. I need to go. How far is Roebling from Atlanta? It's only like what, an hour or two, maybe?
Probably 2-ish hours from Atlanta.
Yeah, it's not that far.
I'm in Greenville, and it's like 3.5 for us to get down there. So
yeah, see, it's 6 for me, but still, it's like I said, throwing a podcast or an audio book, and I'm there. Right, let's go. Right, I love journeys, man. I love road trips, even by myself. I go quite often, especially pretty much everywhere by myself. My dad goes with me to Daytona and usually Jersey at the end of the year, but last year I went by myself, except for Daytona, and yeah, I like to drive. I like the journey, man. It's gives me time to just get out of your own head and enjoy the scenery and maybe cuss some people out on the way, right? Because you know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Oh my God, that's awesome.
especially when you drive to Atlanta.
Yeah, yeah, I'm gonna start cussing on here. We talk about that for sure, right? Florida's just as bad.
Oh, I bet. I haven't done that drive yet.
Yeah, it's 10. Oh, it's actually like 9 hours and 20 minutes from my doorstep, so it's really not that bad of a drive. That's straight, of course, but I don't do
Yep.
straight because I stop and I take my time, man.
Mhm.
We got Chris Durbin, weight to horsepower ratio. What is up, Chris? I'm excited about your 2026 season, my friend. Your hat's actually right here. I try to put it on. Chris gave me a hat, and I freaking love it, but it's too big for my head. So when I put it on, I actually look like a little kid when I have it on, right? Oh my God. He says chains mostly. As far
Yeah,
as,
it's that's the most maintenance other than oil changes that you're gonna have to deal with.
and they're cheap.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're what are they, $60?
I think even less than that for the mini moto stuff.
Yeah, there you
Maybe
go.
50, 40, depending on what you buy.
Right. The gold bling bling. Let's go,
Yeah,
baby.
you could probably even go way cheaper if you really wanted to, which I
Right.
don't.
Nickel plated. Hey, you can get it without O rings or X rings. You just plain old chain. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, 100%. We got Go Fast, Stay Cool. The dudes, no place like Barber, Sweet Home. What is up, my man?
Mhm.
Robert Maxwell. Let's go. You right. Let's go, man. He says, I'm here for it, bro. Let's go, my friend. February 21st through the 23rd, I think he's
Is that the first round? That probably is. I am horrible with dates. I don't. That's why I have a calendar.
I know, dude. I'm the same way. If it's not in my calendar on my phone, it does not exist to me. And I'm
Correct.
I'm sorry. It's I'm bad. Like since I've been doing this for the last couple of years, it's like I have to use my can't write it down. It's got to be in my phone. So
Yep.
um JD, what is up, my man? He says, when you come into SFL mini GP race?
Not on the schedule this year. I don't know. Florida's still a bit of a drive, so my goal is to get kind of comfortable with some of the go-kart stuff, go-kart tracks at Southeast Mini Moto, and do 1 or 2, maybe 3 rounds around the Southeast here.
I want to go, man. I want to go down there this year and ride with them. I was supposed to go to the Heron compound with them when that big storm come through the year before last, and
Mhm.
I obviously I didn't end up going. So
Yeah.
yeah, something I want to do for sure. I'm a huge supporter of SFL Mini GP, 110%. So first race of the season, man. What's your plans for this year? Your goals?
So obviously I got new suspension, so there's some things I need to figure out with how to play with suspension. Like the way I kind of came into this last year is that, hey, I'm going to take it step by step. So I kind of came in with pretty much a bone stock Grom, learned some things, talked to Joe, realized that I probably needed to drop the sprocket, so I changed the sprockets, dropped the tooth in the front, made it a little bit quicker off the line, better in the gearing ratios. And that was one thing to play with. And I started playing with tire pressures, trying to figure out how to get the bike to handle a little bit better off of tire pressure adjustments. And so this year is kind of just learning how the adjustable suspension works with the bike and how I can make the bike feel better so I can be more comfortable. Because one thing I've learned in all my years of different styles of racing, sim racing, go-karts, is the more comfortable you are, the faster you're going to go. And you don't want to be at the 110% limit. You want to be just perfectly comfortable. And the more comfortable you can be, the faster you go. The more consistent you can be, the better you can race and battle and change things up for racecraft. And so it's just that learning step of, hey, I got this whole new components. I've learned what I needed to learn last year, and how can I use that to be a tool to get closer to the guys like Chris Parrish and Joe.
It's a big step getting close to Chris Parrish there.
It sure is. boy diced me up lap one into Charlotte's Web at GNF, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not hanging with him this weekend. Never mind.
Oh, that's how it's gonna be, right, Chris?
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, it was like he put 3 bike lengths on me in Charlotte, so I was like, oh, cool, bye.
I thought we were friends, man. We had this talk before. You're supposed to make me look good at least for the first 4 corners, man.
Yeah.
Not having it. That's awesome. And of course, it's the same. It's the same beautiful circus, same beautiful paddock. There's a bunch of amazing people there. So normally on a typical race weekend, how many competitors is there in your class?
I would say on average we have probably 10 to 15 on average, somewhere in that range that we normally get. And sometimes we get bigger events. Like I said, GNF is always huge because everybody and their brother brings a ground to come race that one.
And what's the age in the class where you race in?
I mean, that varies so much with the mini motos. I mean, we have people in their 60s, 70s to people who are down in, 13, 14. Like, it is the biggest age spectrum. There's nothing like watching, 13-year-old blow your doors off and watching a 60-year-old blow your door off in the other direction. So
I love it, man. Well, yeah, the reason why I asked that, just because I wanted people that are listening to this or just listen to it, man. Anybody can do it at any age, right? Age is just a number. You want to race, there's cheap ways to do it. And mini racing is absolutely one of them. And again, it's some of the most fun you're ever going to have. 110%.
Most fun you can have with something small between your legs.
You know what? We're going to leave that one alone right there. Yeah, we're going to leave that one alone. But you guys can run with that one, right? Yeah, that's hilarious. I love it.
That's what Joe always says. That's always how he pitches the sport.
I know. Again, we love you, Joe. 100%. I can't wait to have him on. But anyway, dude, let's talk about this sim racing, man. Sim racing is something a lot of my friends get into, and obviously you showed me your wheel right before we went live. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, look at that thing. So how'd you get into sim racing? You told me you was doing it for quite some time now.
Yeah, so obviously I've kind of talked that I started with go-karts and the rental carts and stuff like that. And so a lot of the buddies that I used to do that, because we always grew up at the racetrack, going to the races, watching other people, and then you want to get more and more involved. So you start doing go-karts and you try to find ways to level that up. And without really spending all the time and money, my buddies found sim racing. I don't know how they ended up finding it, but one of my buddies back home, Jimmy, he was one of the ones that started doing the sim racing, and he initially just went kind of nuts, bought everything that you could possibly imagine, built the brand new computer. And I don't even want to get in how much money he spent to try to get this all started, but we would go over and go to his house and we'd just practice and play, and he would show us how it works. And it was like the first few times I'd go out on it, you're just doing donuts because you just aren't used to how the real cars interact or how the simulations react. You're used to the arcade games where it's just like you can pin the throttle and it doesn't really do anything. And these are, it's like you pin the throttle on a NASCAR and it just does donuts. Like you do need to feather the throttle in. And so it was like this new challenge for us to racing, because the go-karts really don't have that much power. It's kind of more of an on-off switch with the throttle and the brake. And so there became this more fine play. And so we started learning, and I would hop on his rig, and then COVID hit and I couldn't go out and do anything. And I was like, let me just get in a rig. It's like I can build a budget setup for less than $1,000 and try to figure out a way to make this all work with as minimal equipment as possible. built myself a PVC rig and everything like that. I bought myself a basic Logitech, I think it's a G29 or something like that wheel, which is a couple $100 wheel with a pedal set that don't have, they're not great, but they work. And started doing it myself. And I grew up really, when I grew up, I was watching a lot of dirt track racing. So a lot of the sprint cars, late models, modifieds. And so I started doing it just for that because I'm like, I loved watching these guys. I wanted to kind of experience the other side of it behind the driver's side. And I don't have the money to go buy a 900 horsepower sprint car. And so I would learn on that. And then obviously, the more I got into it, the more they started pulling me. They're like, hey, we're going to do this championship where there's like 6 of us that all race on iRacing. And we had a whole website set up where we had a championship where we would pick a car to run for the year and a championship that we would run for the year. And we would input our results based on where we started, where we finished, how many points iRacing said we earned for all of our performance. And the person with the best overall, we had this little trophy that was like a guy sitting in a couch with a steering wheel in his hands. And we would pass it around because it's the way iRacing works is there's 4 seasons every year. So every 12 months or 12 weeks, there's a championship. So there's a new schedule, there's a new season, and then it resets. And then they change the tracks and everything like that. And then they update, put new material and stuff like that. And so every season we would have this championship between the 6 of us that we would all run the same cars. And so you started learning new skills because one of the guys really likes NASCAR, one of the guys really likes doing formula cars, and I like dirt oval. And all of a sudden, we're all having to learn these different skills and different cars and having to adapt to it. And it was a fun level of competition and learning how all the different cars interact, all the different tracks, and seeing who could best the next one.
That sounds like so much fun. So, what's the cost of getting one of those? You could get started for under $1,000.
Yeah, I think that's about where I started with. I built my own PC, so I sourced all the components and did everything as budget as I possibly could. I think I built the PC for $500-$600 that I got into it, and then the wheel setup is about $250. And then if you spend iRacing the first time you join in, a lot of times they have like a 50% off deal. And so I bought the 2 years for $100. And so you had 2 years of $100, and then they have in program costs for different cars, different tracks, and all that other stuff. And so the nice thing is that iRacing, if you do run full seasons, they actually give you credit back towards the game. So if you run at least 8 of the 12 weeks in a season, they give you credit to use. So it's like $3 if you're in the like novice series, and it's like $5 if you're in the higher level series. And so you can make up to $10 back each season. So you make $40 a year to go put back into the hobby, which is kind of nice.
Yeah, that is pretty cool, man. Absolutely. And of course, it's another one of those things you could upgrade your pedals and your steering wheel and all that good stuff, and you get
Yeah.
more feel and
I've just upgraded the wheel. That's the new wheel that I just got. And I got load cell pedals. And you can go down the rabbit hole and spend thousands and thousands of dollars, just like with racing.
110%, man. Yeah, again, it's cheap fun racing, and you learn a whole lot by doing it. And of course, you meet people too because you're racing with
real people.
Yeah, around the world.
I've raced with Dale Earnhardt Jr. before in this.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that?
I tried not to wreck him. That was my main goal.
He said I tried not to wreck him. Oh my God.
One of the most interesting seasons was, I don't know if you follow NASCAR at all, but Ty Majeski was also a big sim racer. And I spent a whole season in late models with Ty Majeski pretty much in every single race I ran during the whole season. And
awesome.
He's a guy who almost won the championship this year in trucks. And so you can imagine my goal was just not to get lapped more than twice. Like, it was that much of an ass whipping that I got. It was very humbling.
That's awesome, man, to play with people like, I mean, I've never, man, no, I don't follow NASCAR, dude. I've seen a race in real life that was absolutely amazing because you feel the raw speed and the power, and it's loud, and it's raw, and I loved it. But to sit there for 4 hours and watch it, I'm not saying there's no skill, because there's definitely a whole lot of skill that goes into that, whether it's a circle. I like watching the road courses when they do that. Formula One, I watch a little bit. But again, it's just boring. Like, let's just be honest. It's Netflix series is absolutely hypes it up, and it's really cool to watch and all that. And then you start watching a race, you're like, there's hardly any passing on here, and it's all who pits in first, and
It's
just
all the car.
yeah, and it's anyway down the
So
rabbit
I watch
hole on that.
IndyCar. I'm an
Yeah,
IndyCar fan.
I like IndyCar too, right? I do like car racing, man. I like rally racing is one of my favorites.
See, I grew up. So my some of the first races I grew up was like dirt ovals, like I said, and then NHRA drags, top fuel drag racing, which is always interesting watching guys do 0 to 300 miles an hour in less than 3 seconds.
They're just sitting on a nuke bomb waiting to explode at any second.
But if you think a NASCAR event, you feel everything. When you feel one of those things take off, it's a whole different experience.
Yeah, no, I've never been. It's be a nice experience to go see, right? Proper
Hmm.
mega for sure. To sit behind. Yeah, that'd be really cool to go see. Man, and then so you guys obviously gonna race a whole season this year on the IROC race series or
So we're gonna miss two of the rounds at Little Tally this year due to Moto America conflicts. So,
I gotcha.
yep.
I gotcha. And then of course I see you got the Moto Drone Shane Mags
Shane
sweatshirt on.
Mags.
Let's go, Shane. Yeah, we all love Shane, man. And do you help them guys out too as well?
Every once in a while when I'm making it to the races. So I helped him out a little bit last year at Road Atlanta and then Mid Ohio. So those were the two that we made it to Barber, but it was kind of a 1 day one off. We're like, hey, why not just go out to Barber real quick? It's a nice day. It was more of a last minute plan at Barber than it was at you know Road Atlanta and Mid Ohio last year.
So what do you do to help them on their team?
Really, I just kind of help carry stuff. I don't know if you're aware that there's a lot of moving and shaking between getting to hot
Oh,
grid and
absolutely.
so just running out there bringing stuff and helping them set up for autograph signings and stuff like that. It just helps a lot because they don't have a lot of hands over there. So
Yeah. The privateer team. That's the life of a privateer right there. It's a
hmm
beautiful thing to see because I remember when I seen you at Mid Ohio, I was like, where am I? We're in Mid Ohio. Like, what is up? Yeah.
yeah, there's a track I've always wanted to go to, and the girl's like, "Well, then let's go." I'm like, "All right."
What'd you
Don't pull
think?
my arm.
What'd you think of Mid Ohio?
It is true Midwestern road course. That is, you're in the middle of nowhere, and it reminds me a lot of the tracks that you go to growing up. A lot of the dirt tracks, you just come out of a farm field, and there's just a racetrack in the middle of it, and felt a lot like some of those tracks that I grew up at.
It's great. Like when you go to VR, I don't know if anybody listening has ever been to VR. It's like you actually in Virginia is VR, right? But you go through is it
North
Yanceyville or
Carolina.
whatever? Yeah, you briefly go through North Carolina and you don't pass to Virginia right until right before you get to VR, but you make this sharp left and it comes around. All of a sudden, you go through like this. You're like, where am I going? Like, am I going the right way? And then all of
Yeah.
a sudden, you see this big sign VR. You hang a left, and it's like, oh, there it is. It's
Yeah, I know when I went to Redbud, it was kind of the same way. You like leave town, you're in the middle of forest, and then all of a sudden it's like you make a right turn, and there's just this giant racetrack in the middle of nowhere.
you're like, this is heaven. Are we in
Yeah.
heaven? Yes, let's go. I love it, man. I love it. Oh my God. Well, listen, man, dude, I hope all your goals this season, man. I hope you kick everybody's butt this year, man. I hope you go out there and just take it to Parrish. I know you're listening to this, Parrish. If not, I know you're going to. I hope Nathan kicks your butt. Nathan's like, stop, man, stop. No, but you know what? Again, it's just like anything. Iron sharpens iron, right? Even Joe's fast. I've heard a lot of people tell me how fast Joe is. And again, by you racing with him and sticking with him, uh, one day you're going to beat him. Think about
Yeah, I
that.
mean, that's the goal. Like in all my racing, I know I've always struggled in that one lap speed. But when I get into a battle and I can get into the draft, I can kind of stay with a lot of those guys, and I tend to have better racecraft than I do raw pace. So I always hope to just be close to somebody, and then I know I can hang.
What do you think your strongest point is in racing?
It's definitely the racecraft of. It's one of those things like going back to iRacing, my buddy was always faster than me. If we went to just put down a hot lap, he was always like half a second faster than me. But then we get into the races, and I would claw my way through the fields. He'd out qualify me, and I crawl my way back up to him just because I just knew how to set things up without being too aggressive on a lot of things. Where I think he was just like, he had his pace and he was so procedural about it. He was very quick, but when you get caught up behind somebody, some people just can't handle the traffic. And it was like one of the things I always do is I'm always looking for a way to get an open door, hope somebody makes a mistake, and put my nose somewhere where maybe somebody thinks twice about it, and they start getting in their head. And so it's always been, for me, it's just like playing the game of racing. How do I get them to make a mistake? How do I get to open up an opportunity where they don't realize that I got an advantage here? How do I check somebody up so that they can't get the run? And I'm always playing those games because with dirt racing, a lot of times the lines cross and they're zigzagging, and so you're almost always kind of predicting the guys around you. And it's not necessarily about going fast. It's about, hey, I know they're going to check speed by taking this line, and so I already know it's coming, and I'm going to counteract it before it even happens. And I think that was one of the things that took Angela for a miss when we were at Barber the first time, was I just crossed her up on the last corner, and I just set it up the inside, and she didn't realize that I was just going to dive bomb it because I didn't show it until the last lap. Like I waited and waited and waited. Like I knew I could do it, but I'm just like, I'm not going to catch people 6 seconds up the road. I'm not fast enough to catch the guys in the lead, but I can wait and just sit here and see where she's struggling to play that move late. She had the power to get me back before the line, but it was like I knew where I could make the pass and I knew where I could wait and make it happen.
You must just want to reach out as she goes by and just grab her tail section, be like, "No, you don't. I got you." Oh man,
that's one
awesome.
thing you can do in mini moto.
Can you really?
We've done it. We've played little games like that.
So, one question I did want to ask you, me showing up my first time, is it like, your first track day, you got to take a little school and go out there for a little mock race to get your little mini moto license and all that too?
Yep. Yeah. So, a lot of times that's going to be Joe that's handling that. So when I went to Little Tally for the first time last year, you just sign up for the race school, and he goes out there with you and teaches you how to make sure you're not an idiot, you're not crossing lines, you have a good race line, and that you're not going to become a hazard to anybody, because that's the real thing that we're looking for, is that you're not going to do something stupid and just run into somebody.
100%. How much is the whole first event you go to, that whole weekend or race?
So I don't want to quote, but I know when I did it, Joe was offering the race schools for the minis for free.
Oh, okay.
But it may have changed over the years, so I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
No. Yeah. No, it's just a question I had. Yeah. Well, don't worry, because I'm gonna have them on here anyway, so you can tell all about it and what the prices are and all that good stuff. Mm-hmm. So I think it's a wonderful idea, man. Because again, everybody, the cost of racing in general is just super expensive. No matter what form of racing you're doing, and to have something, especially on 2 wheels, that's pretty cheap. You can get around to. Of course, the biggest cost of mini moto racing is if you're nowhere in the local like me, except for VR down 2 hours away. It's just to travel, right? Setting up for the weekend, but you're going to camp out there anyway, or sleep in the truck, or whatever it is you want to do. Get a hotel. Yeah, absolutely. We got Paul McKee. What is up, my man? He says Nate Dogg in the show. Mid Ohio was fire. Amish country is wild. Yes, it is, my friend.
Yeah, felt like home.
He said it felt like home. Yeah, and Mid Ohio is different too, because the way they have their paddock structure around the gate, and it's just it is kind of interesting. Different. Yeah. And then we got Gavin. What is up, Gavin Huffman? He says, "What's up, Chris? You, my friend." He says, "Hello, Nathan. Good to see you both again." Absolutely, my friend. It's always good to see you. For sure, man. Yeah, dude. Listen, Nathan, this has been a lot of fun. But before I let you go, man, I want to dig in and get to know you a little bit away from the IROC racing. You obviously go to a lot of the circuits with Nicole, right? Natalie, I know I'm just messing with you. I had to do it. Obviously, she's a photography, but obviously you got the whole IROC thing. But tell us something we don't know about you.
Well, I pick a banjo. I don't know if you can see it back there, but there's a banjo that's just popping up over the top of. So I play a couple of instruments. I'm a little out of practice with those. I'm a lot more in practice with my racing than I am with my instruments, but I played banjo for, it's over 20 years now. So.
Oh, dude, congratulations, man. So obviously that was another passion of yours.
Yeah, early in life, I went to school for music production, learned a lot about music theory, and that was what I thought I was going to do with life before I made a hard left turn to fitness, and then that just kind of naturally transitioned into sales.
Love it, man. So, what do you do for work now?
I actually sell ratchet straps to trucking companies and rental companies, anybody who makes major transportation stuff.
I love it, man. I love it. Do you love your job?
Yeah, it's a nice smaller family business, and so it's always nice. And eventually we're going to work on some stuff for power sports industries here soon, trying to get involved in some of those dealerships and stuff like that, which will be cool that I get to take the lead on
That's right up your alley, man, and mine too. I'd be like,
that.
yes, I want to head this operation. I got this. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's go, dude. I love it, man. Dogs or cats?
I grew up with dogs. Yeah, but I don't know. I think you saw earlier the spoiled brat that loves me is also a cat. So it's kind of a
Listen, I'm a dog person too myself. We have two cats. Her name is Cookie, and the other one, his name is Monster. Right? He is like the coolest cat. He'll play fetch. He's more like a dog, right? We got him. He was 12 weeks old. Um, my wife's cousin, I think it was, found him in the parking lot at her work. They had to feed him with a little bottle, right? And then when he got big enough, we took him. So anyway, he's huge. He sleeps on top of me. So I got my wife, my dog, Princess Fiona, me, and then the cat sleeps on top of me. And I'm like, dude, you got to be kidding me, right? And then this is the type of cat he is. You'll make a drink, he'll jump up on the counter and knock it off and look at you, and you're like, right? Okay, cool. Clean it up, make another drink. He'll jump down and watch you. You clean it up, make another drink. He'll watch you. He won't do it instantly, and you'll just set it down. And he'll run straight over there, jump on it, and wait till you look at him and go right back on the floor. And I'm like, yeah, but he is so cool.
yeah. Nicole's cat just screams when I don't give him attention.
He don't scream. He's just big and he just lays on you, and you're just like, ugh, dude, can you please get off of me, please? Yeah. So I love it.
Yep.
What's your worst habit?
Worst habit? I don't know. I feel like I've gotten rid of most of the bad ones, but probably not nail biting. I've tried to stop it a couple of times and I've gotten decent and then come back to it.
Yeah, man, I used to bite the you know what out of my nails myself. I really don't do it anymore, to be honest with you. I don't know. I just stop. So every
Yeah,
once in a while, I'll pick at them.
if I don't keep them nice and trimmed, I will just inherently fall back into it.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
I love it, man. I love it. Obviously, I listen to a lot of audio books. I'm currently still listening to The Art of Racing in the Rain. And if you guys have not seen that movie, Nathan, I'm telling you right now, you guys got to watch that movie. It is such a great movie. It's a race car driver that gets this little puppy, and the story is told through the dog's eyes. It is absolutely an amazing story. And obviously, as we all know, books are better than movies, right? Because there's so much more detail and stuff. So,
Mhm.
yeah, that's the book I'm currently listening to. But do you read or listen to books too as well?
Not
Uh,
really anymore. I've kind of moved away from that part of my life. I don't. I'm a music guy, and I've been slowly getting into podcasts and stuff just to keep up with some of the racing because I'm getting too busy to watch everything, and so it's nice to have somebody just tell you what happened.
so, speaking of that, what kind of racing do you watch when you do have the time? Obviously, Moto
Yes,
America,
just
right?
all of it.
All of it.
Just all of it.
BSB. You watch BSB too?
BSB, the vintage racing at Goodwood, um,
The
World of
TT.
Outlaws, Sprint Cars, World of Outlaws, uh, late models. I'll watch NASCAR because Connor Zilich is a guy that when I first came down here, I actually went to a race at Road Atlanta for IMSA, and I got to watch, and they talked about this 15-year-old kid running a Miata, and I was like, man, this guy seems pretty solid. And I started following him, and he almost won the championship the next year, and then ended up in IMSA, won his first ever attempt at Daytona, 24 hours, ended up in NASCAR, won the regular season points last year in Xfinity cars, um, and is now moved up to the Cup Series. And so that's the only reason why I've even gotten back into NASCAR is because I moved down here and I'm like, I got to keep an eye on this kid. And I've just watched him win everything year after year after year. And it's just been wild watching this kid. And it was funny because it's like, I was thinking about this. I'm like, man, like almost 5 years ago, or like 4 years ago, or whatever it was. I told my brother, "You're gonna watch this kid," and now it's like everyone's like, "Man, look at this kid." And it's like, I told you that like 4 years ago. Like,
I love it, man. I love it. Well, good, man. That's awesome. And look, I was laughing because of what Joe Fisher said. He says, I didn't know you could read.
which one?
Right? I don't know. But I guess me and you, right? Yeah. That's why I listen to audiobooks. I'm like, the what is this word again? No, it's I find myself when I read, obviously motor shop manuals, right? Of course I read those, but I just find myself if I physically read, um, I got bad ADHD and I'm sitting there reading a book and I get like 4 pages in it and I'm like, what the hell is even going on? Like I'm totally lost, right? Because I just can't shut this thing off. Whereas an audio book, I stick it in my ears and I got this other voice going on that I can actually follow and listen to instead
Yeah.
of reading and getting lost in my head, right? Same thing with TV shows. I'll literally sit there and watch a TV show. I'm 40 minutes into it and I'm like, I have no idea even what's going on, but this is cool. I'm gonna roll with it anyway.
Yeah.
So, and then at the end of the movie, I asked my wife, I was like, what was the point of that movie? And she's like, what are you retarded? I was like, maybe this much, but it's cool, right? Yeah, just it's cool. Yeah. So podcast too. Obviously, I listen to a lot of podcasts, motorcycle racing, but man, I listen to all kinds of podcasts, Greek mythology, like you name it. I again road tripping, right? Do audiobook in or podcast on or both. And yeah. Next
Yeah.
thing you know,
Put
you're
music
there.
on for me on a road trip. I just need something to keep my brain off of how long it's gonna be.
Sometimes, man, I'll just cut everything off, roll down the window, and
Depending where
just
you're
let it
at, yeah.
be. Yeah, just let it be. Just smell the
You get
smells and see the
the blue
sights
rays
and
and stuff, just turn the music off and enjoy it.
yeah, and then just enjoy it, man. And there's other times when I'll jam on some music going down the road, people looking at you, like he getting it in. Yes, all right, let's go. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, music because you're really big into music, man. I listen to all kinds of music, but I'm gonna ask you like this: what was the last song you listened to today?
Probably still on my Spotify. Here, I can probably actually give an accurate answer, because who knows with me.
I'll pull
Oh,
mine up too.
Teddy Swims' funeral.
Oh, dude, Teddy Swims, dude. I love Teddy Swims. Um, mine is no, I don't want to play. With my twin, the new Wiz Khalifa. I'm a huge Wiz Khalifa
Hmm.
fan. As far as rap goes, that's my dude right there. So he come out with a new album. So yeah, I've been absolutely jamming that. But dude, I listen to Frank Sinatra, man, you name it. I listen to all kinds of music. Depends on what mood I'm in for sure.
So yeah, I
Um,
mean, I go anywhere from bluegrass to classical to movie scores,
right?
heavy
Do we
metal.
yeah, me too, right? Pant yeah, dude, all of it. I love it. Metallica, Pink Floyd. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. The Paddock, what is up? What's happening? Thank you for joining the podcast. So dude, spicy food. Are you into spicy food?
Not really. I mean, I don't mind. Like, I'll have a little bit of spice, but I'm not a guy who flocks to the spicy. A lot of times when I'm cooking, I'll make it a little bit spicier because Nicole likes it. But I'll eat a little bit of spice. I'm just not huge on it.
I love spicy food. The hotter the better, for sure. Um, I grew up a huge Star Wars nerd. Do you like Star Wars?
Man, don't even get into me about Star Wars. When I grew up, I used to read all the extended universe books, and now those aren't canon anymore. And so I just kind of can't keep with it anymore, man. I was like, I fell in love with these stories, and then Disney just ripped it all away.
Yeah. Yeah. So listen, was saying that what Star Wars character would you be?
Would I be
Yeah, light side, dark side,
bounty hunter?
bounty hunter would be cool. Bounty
Yeah.
hunter would be cool. I would like to be a Jedi, but not be a Jedi. I wouldn't be a Sith. I'd be like a Ahsoka. I'd walk that gray line, pretty much do what I want when I want to do it. Not
Or
have
a
to answer to
smuggler.
anyone.
That could be fun too, to be like a
Yeah,
smuggler
smuggler would be
type.
cool.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this: did Han Solo shoot first?
Yeah.
100%. 100%,
They
right?
doctored
Yeah.
it. They doctored it.
It's all it's a conspiracy theory, people. I love it. Dude, what's the one superpower you wish you had?
I have to be teleportation. Just be
Yes,
anywhere you need.
bro. That's exactly what I say, right? All these other ones, like at first I was like, I want to fly like Superman. Then I got thinking, I was like, wait a minute.
You get
Let me
bugs in
just
your teeth and
I ain't worried about the bugs in my teeth. Of course, I'd wear a motorcycle helmet, right? I'd be that nerd flying in the sky with a motorcycle helmet on. No, but dude, teleport, man. I'd be like, hey, I'm going to Phillip Island. Boom, I'm in Phillip Island. Like, there's no
yeah,
travel at all. I'd be like, I'm going home
you
soon.
don't
My
have to pay
baby
for a
tired.
plane ticket.
No, I didn't got to pay for a ticket. I just arrived in the paddock already.
Yeah,
Bam, there I am. Right? Just
no traffic. Yeah.
no traffic, no nothing. Be like, hey Nathan, I'm gonna come over. I'm gonna sit down. We're gonna do the pod live, then we'll do a little sim racing. I'm going home. Boom, there I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cool, man. Absolutely. Are you superstitious? Do you have any superstitions?
No, not really, man. It's just I guess there's like routines more than anything. Like, you get to the track and it's like, all right, I gotta reset. I gotta do this. I want to listen to music, and like I'll get more into routines and stuff like that because it's more repeatable and it feels more comfortable that way.
Well, I like a routine too, and it makes me feel like satisfied, I guess, in that aspect where my mind's clear when I'm doing whatever it is I'm doing,
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So
yeah,
yeah, 110%, man. Uh, did you play any other sports growing up, or was you just into music?
yeah. So I started with soccer. That was the big one that I had growing up. I played every position there was to play. Ended up at midfield when I was younger. Really liked being able to go and spread the field and kind of a little bit more control there. And towards high school, I ended up playing a goaltender, and so ended up going opposite way and playing the guy in goaltending. And so I played 1 year of high school before I decided my shoulders were just not thrilled with the physicality of falling on your shoulders every day for practice. And I'm like, I'm not taking this to professional levels, and my shoulders would crunch every time I did that. And it was like, all right, it's maybe time to hang up the cleats. And then I ran track my senior year in high school, ran the 400 and the 800.
Nice.
And after that, I ended up getting involved in gymnastics and stunts, and then moved to BMX racing before motorcycles.
I love it, man. What a journey. Well, yeah, absolutely. What a journey, man. I grew up playing soccer. That's absolutely one of my favorite sports.
Mhm.
Obviously, the Super Bowl's coming up. So, who you got winning for the Super Bowl? The
Seattle.
Patriots? Yeah, that's what I say. Even though I don't watch football hardly ever at all, even the Super Bowl, I just go to hang out and eat chicken wings
Yeah, I
and
haven't
social.
really watched the game this season, but I just don't want the Patriots to win.
Yeah, 110%, right? And then, yeah, dude, do you ever talk to Shane about, he's into I think it was I don't want to get this wrong, AFL, and his team is the Pies, right? So when I had Tate on from 64 Degree Racing, big shout out to 64, but we'll get into all that at the end. Um, yeah, he's into his Australian football too as well, and his team is the Pies. So yeah. Matter of
No, I
fact,
have
look
not.
what yeah, dude, you got to. So Shane's actually in. He says, I spy with my Magsy eye, something beginning with my team hoodie. Love it, love it, love it. You're awesome, Nathan. Always love your support and help at the track. Excited to catch up with you soon, brother. Love you, Simcoe. Shane is always my friend. I love you too. I can't wait to see you at Daytona in a couple of weeks' time, my friend, for sure. So yeah, man. Absolutely. Dude, do you have any tattoos?
Nope.
No.
Clean.
You don't plan on getting any?
I thought about it for the longest time, but now it's like, and if I want to get something that's meaningful to me, it's like you just go get yourself a custom suit, a custom helmet, custom graphics, and you can express yourself through that. I don't need it here to see it. I have all these other different toys that
Yeah.
I can put it on and change it up and make it look different, and I'm never stuck to something.
Yeah. Are you currently watching anything cool on TV you can recommend to anybody?
Supercross is on.
Oh, yeah, of course. We
Because
all watch
racing
one.
started.
I know, right? What else you gonna watch? I'm actually watching Fallout on
Hmm.
Amazon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm in the shop and I'm working on stuff, I've got the Grand Tour on.
Yeah.
I'm just going back and doing rewatches.
I watch a lot of reruns of races during the off season.
Yeah, I do too.
But yeah, so that's something that me and my son do together, man. We've been watching Fallout and the Netflix Arcane. I had to think about it because if I got it wrong, he always corrects me. He's like, "That's not how you say it, Daddy."
Yeah, I'm like
Okay,
trying
I'm
to think of a
sorry.
TV show I really watch. Normally it's just whatever Nicole puts on.
I feel you, right? My wife, it's either crime videos, which is cool because I like watching crime videos too. 48 hours and all the Netflix like
Mhm.
crime, documentaries and stuff. So yeah. Well, when I say I watch them, I'm probably texting or setting up a podcast or setting up a chat with somebody to get measured for a suit or something like
Yep.
that. So yeah, man, for sure. 110%. Man, dude, if you could travel back to any era of time, where would you travel back to?
Man, see, I'm such a race guy. It's like, what era of racing would be cool to go back and watch? And it's
All of
like,
them.
I mean, all of them would be so cool, but I think it'd have to be somewhere like the late 80s and the like early 90s era. Like that was where I think motorsports was the most raw. You had like the Group B stuff going on. You had like the rotary engines in Le Mans. You had Dale Earnhardt at the Ross, where the cars, like the suspension still bounced around like crazy. They weren't fully built race cars, but people were still doing like wild stuff to get performance gains that nobody knew how to put into a rule book yet. It's like these guys were playing with fuel compounds in their backyard, trying to figure out how to make higher octane fuel. Like that would be so cool to like sit there and even like be in one of those teams and see those guys doing that kind of stuff because it's like we can't even do that now because everything's so highly regulated in the racing world because of that generation.
Yeah, but eh, racing is racing, and since we've been doing it, we've always been cheating at it too, right? Ever since
You
we
ain't cheating,
invented the
you ain't
wheel,
trying.
110%. There's always that gray area right there. I'm gonna see how far I can bend this rule, and before
You
I
got
take
you got
off.
to get those aftermarket brake rotors.
Right, 100%. Look, Joe says chariot races. That's
I had to
right.
take a jab. I had to take a jab at Joe there.
That's hilarious. Oh my god, dude, that's awesome. So listen, man. I'm gonna ask you one more question, and then we'll give our shout outs. This has been a lot of fun. It's been an absolute honor to sit down with you. We'll definitely sit back down at the end. How long is your guys' season?
Well, it starts in later this month and goes until the last round's in October. So
Oh, okay. So it's a full season then. All right. Well, we'll sit down mid season. We'll catch up, see how your season's going, then we'll sit down at the end of the season and we'll catch back up and talk about your 2026 season, all the trophies you won, and
mhm.
especially in the sim racing too as well. Joe says protest them. That's right. Let's protest. That's
Gotta protest
hilarious.
those aftermarket brake rotors.
Oh my god, that's hilarious. So listen, me and you, we're going out to have a beer. What's our go-to karaoke song?
Ooh, for me, it's got to be walking in Memphis.
There it is, right? So when we get together, well, I don't know that one. I know the song, but I don't know it by heart.
I
I'm
do.
gonna have to catch up. I know. Okay. Well, I'll let you take the lead and I'll just repeat everything you said. I'll be the guy in the background. Yeah, and let's go. I love it, man. Well, listen, Nathan, this has been a lot of fun, man. It's an absolute honor to have you on this podcast. It's been a proper mega time. Uh, before I leave you the microphone, I got to give a couple of my shout outs, man. The first thing I want to say, as I always do, is I appreciate all the love and support from each and every single one of you because if it wasn't for Nathan and everybody coming on here and all the likes and subscribes and people listening, I would not be here in this seat right now. And I would not be able to do this. So it's because of each and every single one of you that I am here. And I love every single one of you for that. And I cannot wait for the season coming up. It's right around the corner. I'll be at Daytona, and I hope to see everybody there too as well. If you're out there in California, CRA and CVMA, make sure you sign up for the Racer 401 program my man Aunt Lee Terry has, which is an absolute amazing program. Big shout out to my man Martin in the Clothing Kings. You guys can go to the website, theclothingkings.co.uk, and get all your Pendergast podcast merch out there in the UK. Listen, I tell everybody like this: when you go to the track, especially when you first get into it, people wear Nike, undergarments and all that, but nothing replaces a proper undersuit, right? 100% undersuit. So I got two friends that make the most amazing undersuits in the world, hands down. One of them is Venom. You guys can go to venomsport.com. And the other one is 64 Degree Racing, my man Tate. Absolutely amazing people. I love them both to death. And make sure you get a couple of them and don't show up for one weekend with just one. Trust me. I know. And everybody listening to this that's done that. Look, Nathan's like, yep, absolutely right. So do yourself a favor, get a couple of those, right? Next up, man, RD Racing out there in the UK. My man Jake Marsh. He's getting ready to get back into his season again coming up. 64 Degree Racing, which I already said. K-Tech. If you're not on K-Tech suspension, I don't know what you guys or girls are doing, but you need to get on some K-Tech. I got three friends that make graphic kicks. Again, you're not going to go wrong by ordering from any one of them. Obviously, one of them is GRG Designs, my man Gus Rodeo. The next one is REB Graphics, my man Reese. Big shout out to him. And of course, Chris from Dripping Wet. Everybody knows all three of them, right? And you're not going to go wrong. I don't know if you order from them, from any one of them, and I'm sure there's a million people that make graphic kits, but those are three of my friends that make them. So big shout out to SFL Mini GP. If you're not racing SFL Mini GP, I don't know what you're doing, right? Again, any age. What's awesome about the program is you don't need anything. You just register, sign up, you show up. They provide the boots, the leathers, the gloves, the helmets, the bikes, everything. So it's no excuses. So don't sit on the couch, say, oh, I'm gonna and I will. Go do it, right? It's as simple as that. Have the most proper mega fun you're ever gonna have in your life. The next thing you know, you're gonna be out there buying you a Grom or a little Z, and you're gonna go out there and be chopping it up at the track, having the best time of your life. And of course, if you're out there in Jersey, they have a Jersey Mini GP too as well. So yeah, that's all I got for now. Nathan, tell everybody where they can find you on social media, the first race of the year, where they can come up and show all the love and support. Are you going to get any merch for sale this year?
Oh man, I'm not that. I rock other people's merch, man.
I know, man. I'm just messing with you. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, probably the most merch that I'll be rocking is I'll call her my biggest sponsor, Nicole Polish Photography. If we make some sweatshirts or something, I'll probably be rocking one of those.
100%.
Because she's really my only sponsor that I got on the bike. So
I love it. Yeah, dude, she's absolutely amazing. Again, if you guys missed that podcast from me and I had on, and when you guys go to the track, she's always at club events and some Moto America events. Stop by and say hi. She'll absolutely. I can't wait to see you guys this year. It's going to be absolutely amazing. So, Nathan, this has been a lot of fun, my friend. I appreciate it, man. I can't wait to sit back down with you in the mid season this year and hear your progression, and hopefully I can get Joe Fisher on soon. Joe, I mean, you've been talking about let's make it happen after Daytona. After Daytona, we'll make this happen. So yeah, listen, everybody, thank you for tuning in, joining in. I will see you guys and girls. I got one not tomorrow, but Saturday and Sunday. So y'all stay tuned for that. Yeah, that's all I got for now. This episode, Nathan, will be out in about 30 minutes everywhere. I'll send y'all the links, tagging, all that good stuff. And yeah, on that note, we are out of here.
Calling all two-wheel enthusiasts, get ready to rev up your earbuds with Pin the Gas Podcast, the ultimate motorcycle racing podcast, hosted by Chris Simcoe, one of our very own excellent leaders here in Roanoke, Virginia. With expert analysis, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive writer interviews, Pin the Gas Podcast delivers the adrenaline rush of the racetrack straight to your ears. Whether you're a diehard fan or a curious newcomer, you'll gain insights that will transform how you watch and understand motorcycle racing. On your favorite podcast app, join Simcoe as he takes you on a high-speed journey through the world of motorcycle racing. Pin the Gas Podcast.
All right.